All right, thank you guys. Happy Thursday to you. If you want to save yourself some time, all of today's picks for this video can actually be located at the end of the video in my quick pick recap. So if you're pressed for time or you just want to find out what the picks are right away, just go ahead and fast forward right now to my quick pick recap located at the end of this video. And with that said, let's go ahead and break down some of these games. A couple of games I want to kind of go through here with you. So anyway, let's start with NC State taking on UNC. And that is going to be a 12 p.m. Eastern kickoff this Saturday. Now the Tar Heels are the 15-point favorite, total 60 and a hook. We're 4-1 in our last 5 extra daily picks on patreon.com/Brock Page. And access to the extra daily pick cost just $2.99. We're also hitting at 65% in our last 21 crowd pleaser teasers on that site as well. We currently have over 790 members signed up and active on that page. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. That's patreon.com/Brock Page. I highly recommend it. Now, the Wolfpack of NC State is plus 450 for an upset win. And if you like them catching the 15, they're minus $110 getting the job done against the number. NC State's on a 3-game winning streak. They're coming fresh off a 31-20 victory over Duke, where they held the Blue Devils scoreless for the entire second half. Nice little shutout in the final 30 minutes. They also beat the likes of Virginia and Pitt during that span as well. The Wolfpack's officially 4-1 straight up on the season, but equally as impressive for bettors. Here's the great news. They're currently 4-1 against the spread in those contests as well. Good for 80% thus far on this season. Cash and tickets for this particular squad here. Now this Wolfpack team is scoring 34 points a game, and they find themselves rushing for 151 yards per contest. They have a bit of a two-headed monster in Zonovan Knight and Ricky Person Jr. Knight's touched it 60 times for 365 yards and 3 scores. Meanwhile, Person is right behind him with 323 yards on the ground and 3 scores himself. Now, both men have combined for nearly 700 yards on the ground already, while Zahn currently averages an impressive 6.1 yards per carry. You also might want to be on the lookout for the big tight end, Kerry Angeline, in the red zone and short yardage situations here. Angeline's averaging 16 yards per reception. And he's got 5 touchdown grabs thus far in the season. And believe it or not, Kerry comes out of downtown East High School in Pennsylvania. Coach Mike Matt has produced a slew of NFL talent, including tight end Tyler Croft and quarterback Kyle Lauletta. So there's some random trivia for you here today. Now, this NC State offense has scored 20 touchdowns from the line of scrimmage this year. They're taking on a Tar Heel squad who's coming fresh off a huge letdown game against the hapless Florida State Seminoles. Now, Florida State came into that contest just 1-3 on the season, with their lone victory being a come-from-behind victory against Jacksonville State. So really just a kind of a bad Florida State team. Now the Heels somehow gave up 31 first-half points to the Noles en route to their 3-point loss. North Carolina's lost 5 out of their last 6 ball games hosting the Wolfpack. So if you're into historical trends, really not a whole lot of success in that particular stat. And of course, as electric as quarterback Sam Howell's been, he has been sacked 11 times already, and he's thrown 4 interceptions. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, this Tar Heel defense has just 2 takeaways on the season as well. And should this game come down to the wire, I know we don't talk about special teams a whole lot, but just keep in mind that Tar Heel kicker Grayson Atkins is just 2 for 5 on field goals for the season, and he has yet to make one past 40 yards. So certainly not a clutch kicker. If you need him in a spot to win the game, he might not be your guy. But anyway, total-wise, UNC saw their 3rd game of the season against Virginia Tech fly 43 points over the posted total. That game actually got into the hundreds. That game was also played on their home turf. Meanwhile, the Wolfpack on the other side saw 4 out of their last 5 ball games get over the number themselves. Officially 3-0 to the over on the road this year. So with all that said and done, give me the NC State Wolfpack plus 15 and the over 60.5 in that contest. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. This is the ACC pick video, and we're just kind of trying this out this week, breaking down the college football videos into conferences, and so far so good, and I actually really enjoy producing the videos as well. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, guys, got some lines of personal leans out for ACC Week 8, but before we dive into some more free content right here on YouTube, just got to quickly remind you once again that we are 4-1 in our last 5 extra daily picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. And access to that content costs just $2.99. We're also hitting at 65% in our last 21 crowd pleaser teasers on that site as well. We currently have over 790 members signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join them and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And moving on, we're going to take a look at Florida State, Louisville, 12 p.m. Eastern start time. The Cardinals of Louisville, they are the 4-point favorite at home, total 60 and a hook. Now the Noles are plus $1.60 for an upset win. And if you like FSU to cover the 4, they're minus 105, getting the job done against the number. Now the Noles have won 2 out of their last 3 ball games. Nice little spoiler victory over North Carolina in their last ball game. They actually held the Tar Heels to just 7 points in the first half en route to that massive upset victory. Kind of, I don't want to say crushing UNC's chances at a national title, but certainly kind of put a chink in that armor. But anyway, they've also put up 31 first half points to really bury the Tar Heels early. Now, the Noles have covered the number in their last 2 straight, and they find themselves as one of the better rushing teams in the country. Running back LaDamian Webb has touched it 48 times for 262 and 3 scores. He's actually averaging 5.5 yards per carry. And out of this trio of Florida State quarterbacks we've seen this year, looks like Jordan Travis has been the most productive. He's carried it 59 times for 342 yards and 4 scores. Travis is averaging nearly 6 yards a carry himself. Now the Noles are rushing for 183 yards a game, and they've punched it in 9 times already on the ground. They're taking on a Louisville squad who's currently on a 4-game losing streak, just 1-3 against the spread in those contests. Really struggling right now. This Louisville defense has just 3 takeaways, and they've given up 30 points a game. Now the Cardinals have also dropped 4 out of their last 5 conference games. Now total-wise, Louisville's 2-0 to the over at home. Defense certainly not helping them there. Meanwhile, 3 out of the Noles' last 4 contests got over the line themselves. They're also 2-0 to the over when they travel this year. So with all that said and done, give me the underdog Florida State Seminoles plus 4 and the over 60.5 in that game. All right, next matchup I have for you. It is going to be Virginia Tech taking on Wake Forest. And that particular contest is going to be a 3:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Now, the Hokies are the 9-point favorite on the road here, total 68 and a hook. I guess the books are expecting a lot of scoring in this one. Now, the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest are plus 245 for an upset win at home. They're also currently on a 2-game winning streak. Big win over Virginia last week, where they held the Cavaliers to just 3 points in the second half. They also racked up 40 points in that contest with UVA as well. Wake Forest successfully covered the number in their last 2 straight. And they're also 3-1 ATS overall for the season, so a very good covering team in this ACC, one of the better ACC covering teams in the conference. Now, Wake Forest rushing for 165 yards per contest, mostly thanks in part to running back Kenneth Walker, who's carried it 67 times for 383 yards and 7 big touchdowns. Walker averages nearly 6 yards per carry as well. And can't forget about Christian Beal-Smith, kind of splitting carries as well. He's carried it 58 times for the Demon Deacons, 256 yards on the ground, 4 scores for Chris. Wake Forest scored 13 rushing touchdowns through only 4 games thus far in the season. They've also forced 9 turnovers on the defensive side as well. Linebacker Jaquez Williams leads the team in tackles with 33 of them. He's also got a PBU and a forced fumble. Defensive lineman Carlos Basham also has 4 sacks and 17 total tackles for this Wake Forest defense as well. They are taking on a Virginia Tech squad who's failed to cover the number in 2 out of their last 3. And one of those failures to cover was an outright loss to UNC where they gave up a staggering 56 total points. Really can't win many games giving up 56 over the half-century mark there. And before their most recent contest with Boston College, the Hokies were allowing 37 points a game. And as potent as this Hokie offense has been on the ground, they've literally posed zero threat passing-wise. They're throwing for just 172 yards a game through the air. Now, total-wise, Virginia Tech's 2-0 to the over on the road this season, 3-1 to the over for the entire season, regardless of location. Meanwhile, the Demon Deacons on the other side saw their last 3 straight get over the number themselves. Hey, guys, I'm going to lean toward another underdog catching the points in this one. Give me the underdog Wake Forest Demon Deacons +9 and the over 68 and a hook in that game. All right, next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Georgia Tech, Boston College, 4 p.m. Eastern start time. Now, the Eagles of BC, they are the 3-point favorite at home, totals 54 and a hook. The Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech are plus $1.35 on the money line. And if you like the Ramblin' Wreck catching the 3 right now, they're plus $1 getting the job done against the point spread. Pretty good value there if you like GT catching even money plus the 3. But anyway, Georgia Tech's coming fresh off a 66-point humiliation to Clemson last week. Certainly no shame in losing to Clemson, but they weren't even competitive. Might as well not have shown up. They've given up 186 points in their last 4 ball games and failed to cover the number in 3 out of those 4 contests. And in addition to giving up 47 points a game in their last 4 straight, the Ramblin' Wreck has scored 21 points or less in 4 out of their 5 contests on the year. Really struggling offensively. They're throwing for just 207 yards a game, along with 9 total interceptions. They're taking on a BC team who successfully covered the number in 2 out of their last 3. Marquee covers over the likes of Pitt and UNC. The Eagles are also 2-1 straight up at home, 2-1 against the spread in those ball games. Quarterback Phil Jerkovich is throwing for 305 yards a game, along with 10 touchdowns. Wide receiver Zay Flowers has 28 receptions for 462 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's actually averaging 17 yards a catch. Meanwhile, big tight end Hunter Long has caught it 35 times for 416 and 3 scores himself. Flowers and Long are averaging a combined 176 yards a game receiving together. This BC defense has also gotten the quarterback 13 times and has 8 takeaways on the season. Now, total-wise, BC's 4-1 to the under so far in this season. Their last 4 meetings with Georgia Tech stayed well under the posted total as well. Meanwhile, the Yellow Jackets' rush-heavy offense and lack of offensive production, for that matter, should be able to keep this one under. Give me the Boston College Eagles -3 and the under 54.5 in that contest. All right, next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Virginia taking on Miami, Florida. 9 p.m. Eastern start time. The Hurricanes are the 13-point favorite, totals 57.5. The Cavaliers of Virginia are plus 360 on the money line. UVA's also gone on they're currently on a 3-game losing streak. They gave up 40 to Wake Forest in their most recent contest. They were actually held to just 3 points in the second half of that game as well. Now, Virginia is 0-2 against the number in their last couple of ball games, 0-5 straight up in their last 5 on the road, and of course that dates back to last season. This Cavalier defense gave up 40 points a game on average in their last 3. They're also completing just 55% of their passes, and they've thrown 9 interceptions compared to just 8 touchdowns. They're taking on a strong Miami squad who's 4-1 straight up on the season, 4-1 against the number in those contests, and of course, as I was saying earlier, really when it comes to the spread, that's all that matters. Is this team a good covering team or not? Because those covers are going to get you paid. Once again, Miami 4-1 against the number thus far in the year. Now, Miami's putting up 36 points a game and scored 31 points or more in 4 out of their 5 contests on the season. This Hurricane ground game is rushing for nearly 180 yards per contest, and that's mostly thanks to Cameron Harris, who's gained 338 yards on the ground and scored 5 times. Harris is actually averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. And of course, quarterback De'Aaron King, very elusive. He's rushed it in the end zone a couple of times for touchdowns, and he's also averaging 5.2 yards per carry himself. Now, this Miami defense has also gotten to the quarterback 14 times through 5 games, and they have 8 takeaways. Bring out that turnover chain. Cornerback Al Blades has a pair of interceptions from the secondary, 15 total tackles for Al. Jared Harrison Hunt also has 3 sacks for the Canes and a forced fumble. Meanwhile, safety Bubba Bolden, remember that name, he currently leads the program in tackles with 33 of them. He also has a sack, 2 PBUs, an interception, and 3 forced fumbles. Dude's an absolute turnover machine. Now, total-wise, 3 out of the U's last 4 contests got over the posted number. They're 2-1 to the over as the home team. Meanwhile, Virginia's 2-0 to the over when they travel, 4-0 to the over for the entire season, giving me the Miami Hurricanes minus 13 and the over 57.5 in that contest. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. We're going to go ahead and lean toward NC State plus 15 over 60.5. Underdog Florida State plus 4 over 60 and a hook. Underdog Wake Forest plus 9 over 68.5. Boston College Eagles minus 3 under 54 and a hook. And of course, last but certainly not least, we're going to lean toward the Miami Hurricanes minus 13 and the over 57.5 in that game. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind, we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.